you looking to improve your sales without resorting to pushy tactics? Welcome to Sales Made Easy, the podcast that helps you to achieve better sales results and gain long-lasting clients through relational selling. Let's get right into it. How do you feel about the word why? If you are telling someone you know and respect, and they come back and say, "Why did you do that?" How do you feel when you hear the why word? There's a better way of asking. I was just speaking to a friend of mine, Greg Birch. We were doing a podcast, and he did interrogation in the United States Army. And he was talking about asking questions, how or what. And I asked, well, why don't you use the word why? And I've always felt that why, you have this feeling that comes up that makes you want to be defensive. If someone says, well, why did you take that route? I mean, stupid. We just feel like we have to defend against the word why because it's accusatory, as what Greg mentioned. He says it can be interpreted as being somewhat accusatory. So if we're trying to get information, which we hear in sales, just keep asking why. Well, number one, if you know that some people are going to receive the word as being an accusation, we want to stop using the word. So what's better? Then instead of continuing to ask why and get deeper, we can ask things like, what led you down that path? Or we might even have to say, I'm curious. What was the process that you were going through? Or what were some of the reasons that you decided to do that? And we show that we're curious and we're on the same side of the table, so to speak. So if someone said, for instance, I bought this program and it was a total waste of money, and we might say, well, why did you do that? Well, now we're accusing them, right? Where the potential is there that we come across as being accusatory. Instead, someone says they bought a program, wasn't a good use of money, say, that's interesting. What led you down that path to get that program? What were some of the things that were going through your mind? Now they're like, hey, this guy is on the same side as me. He's curious and he may be helpful, versus he's accusing me of being a moron because I already said I wasted my money. See how that works? So the next time we say why, let a little red flag come up, and it's great in conversations with your spouse or with your kids. Instead of saying, once you say the word why, switch it to what, and then try to formulate the question using what or how, which will give them more of a feeling that you're there to support them versus accusing them of making a mistake. I look back at my parenting. Yeah, I said why way too often. So yes, no wonder my kids were defensive and they would say things like, I don't know. Is because they did not want to hear me questioning, their intelligence or whatever it was. Same is true in sales. So next conversation, we want to get to the bottom. We want to uncover things. Try to eliminate the word why as much as possible. Lead with what led you down that path? What were some of the things that you learned? What were some of the causes that made you do that? Along those lines, I think you'll see better answers. I hope that makes sense. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening to Sales Made Easy. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Also, you're invited to join the Facebook group Sales Training Selling with Dignity. Serve first, the selling will follow.